Hello, friends. I've been talking quite a bit about fear lately and also about surrendering or letting go. And I want to talk some more about it because I'm really in that process myself, and there's so much that I see that I'm going to try and put words to today because as it becomes more my reality to go through that, it's empowering. So, what I'm going to be talking about is that basically, as you know, we live in the false matrix as if that is the reality, the only reality. We are completely identified with it. And many of us want to get out of it. And many of us have been trying to get out of it inside of it, and that's not possible. We can certainly make it nicer. You may have heard the metaphor, if you're in a prison cell, you can make it look nice, but you're still in the prison cell. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's something that you can live with. And then there are those of us who want to fully get out of that prison cell, which is completely made of fear. And in my own experience, as I did this video recently about, I think it was called something like I broke up with fear thanks to my my cat Sasha, and it's almost been a daily thing where somehow she disappears, even though I have Sasha proofed my garden. So every day I get an opportunity, like I suddenly she's gone and I cannot find her anywhere. And it's maybe silly to spend so much time on that, but that's just my process. And as I'm going through that process, I'm just learning so much because it's right in my face, right? Your beloved, my beloved cat, who seemingly is dying, and I want her to feel comfortable and go out, but not leave the garden because I want to keep her safe, and so on. But this little girl, she has a different desire than mine. They're very different on certain levels. She wants to be out, and she has her favorite places where she likes to hang out. And somehow they're outside of my garden, and I have no clue where she's getting out. So as I'm getting used to it, I'm still experiencing like when I cannot find her anywhere. And I do check on her, many times during the day to make sure she's okay, has water, some food. Um, and then she's gone, right? And then I look everywhere and I go through my little routine. And then immediately fear shows up, immediately. And this is what I want to just share with you because I think most of us have not quite transitioned out of it and live in a new dimension, even though we're still in the 3D world, in the physical world. So many times, we've all said like, I'm just going to leave it to God. I surrender it and I'm leaving it with God. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? If I look at it when I've said it in the past, and if I didn't have a full release, a full relaxation of letting go, then it was just all mind spin. It's almost like I was using one mind sentence against the fear. The fear is a mind thing. And then I come with an opposing, it could be an affirmation, it could be whatever, something that is empowering. But as long as it stays in the mind, you are still in the matrix. And so it might, again, you might putting a nice painting in your prison wall and it might feel good for a little while, but you're still in there. You're not free. You're not out of the matrix. So bear with me here. I'm learning, as I've been doing this for a while now because of my cat. So what I know from Joe Goldsmith, as you know, he's still my teacher. I never met him. He passed away before I ever met him. But his healing, the way he healed, was to completely not give any energy to this appearance, as he would call them. It's an appearance. Something is appearing to our senses, and it wants us to engage in it. And when we do, whether it's a disease or lack or who knows what, we engage and we are in the matrix feeding it. So with Joel, he would say, you do not react to it, you do not engage with it. And that is so hard because what do I do then, right? But for him, it was like completely letting it go. And then he would go inside and then he would say, okay, God, I know this is not true. He didn't call it the matrix, but he called it an illusion or hypnotic suggestion or whatever. He had many names for it too. So he'll go in, I know that's not true. And he knew that to the core. So now you show me what is true. So what do you think God is going to show Joel? Well, God, whatever that is, would reveal the kingdom of God or the field of, the unified field or the field that Rumi talks about, where there is no right doing or wrong doing. So that would be revealed to Joel. And it always came what he called like with a click or a deep breath or, an energy moving through him of peace or expansion or whatever it was. And then he knew, he's like, okay, God is on the field. It's right here. I don't need to do anything else. It's taken care of. And he would just go on with his life. And then he would get, these feedbacks that people got healed, this went away, whatever it was. That was very common for Joel because he knew not to touch it. And he knew to go to what he called the Father. I think that's a little outdated these days, but to go to the soul connection, the divine, the field. You use whatever resonates with you as a place you can rest back in. And here the answer was revealed. It didn't reveal like the person being healed, or in my case, the cat being back here or something, right? Because that's what the mind wants. It wants to put that image, a positive image, on a fear-based image, and then we hope that this is going to win, right? And the more we focus on it, the stronger it gets. And there is definitely truth to that because it's all in a matrix, and the mind is creating in the matrix. So there is truth to that, but there's no freedom, no true freedom, the way at least Joel would talk about it. So let me just bring that back to Sasha again, my cat. So she's gone, and right away, I want to go like, okay, I let it go. And it's like, well, it's all mine. And then don't waste your time on that. And it's like, well, God is everywhere. She's safe. It's all still mine, right? But that's not bad. If those quotes or those sentences help us to drop in, then it's working. Then that's perfect, right? So Joel, he could just go there right away. It's like that nonsense. But for many of us, we just need to, do a few little rounds of something where we land in something where we can go, oh, yeah, okay, now show me. But it has to come to that place where we are so surrendered to the divine that we only want to know what is true, not what's true about the disease, the disappearing cat, that's all matrix. But what is true in the field? What is true in the kingdom of heaven? And we don't know that because we live here. And that's a whole different realm, the false matrix. And we can call this maybe the divine matrix. So it's good to know the distinction. So for me, I just need to let go of the fear. I need to just disengage from the fear. And it's getting easier because I know in myself, I do not want that. And I shared that the other day too. It's very strong in me, but it doesn't mean it can't still creep in and kind of, have an impact on me. So I really need to get my sword out. It's like that one, no. And then when I really know what I want, right? And that's where I often talk about the heart's longing, because that is the kingdom of heaven. That is the field, the unified field where there is no disease, there is no missing cast, there is oneness. And that is where I want to live full time. And again, that's a practice because as soon as I'm not consciously here, I will probably be, by default, still be pulled back, right? So here I go the last several days again, like, okay, she's not here. I'm more relaxed because it's happened a number of times now, but I'm not, there's still that suggestion, that hypnotic suggestion that, I should be afraid. You can't just be relaxed, Pernilla. Your cat is missing. You have to be afraid. So I catch it, I see it. It's like, okay, I get that, but thank you. I'm not interested. I just want to know what is true. I want the kingdom of heaven to show me what is true. I want the field to show me what is true. And the more I do that, then it's like my will aligns with divine will, because divine will is the field, is the kingdom of heaven. And I need to align my will with that. And that means I have to be that, I have to become that. And this is not easy, but it gets easier with practice. And I'm speaking from experience, especially the last week or so. It's not new to me, but my cat has helped me take it to a much deeper level of letting go and more knowing on a felt sense level. What is the field? What is this field? Because when I enter that, there's nothing else I want. This is what I want. I don't want to get out there and find my cat because I know when I'm here, my cat is here too. We all are here. It's just that we leave it all the time. So when I go here, there is peace. And I'm not kidding you that every single day when I got to this place of peace, guess who shows up out of nowhere? I don't know where she's going out. I don't know where she's coming in, but suddenly she's there. I was like, wow. So that is when I meet the divine in the field. And of course, that's where everybody is, so that my cat is there. So she cannot be separate from me in the oneness. That can only happen in the false matrix duality. So there is no separation in oneness. As I'm saying that, I want to be very careful that I don't want to try and sound like, like a spiritual bypass, or that this is easy or this is pie in the sky. This is very real, but you have to realize it. It's not done in the mind, and it takes everything. If you really want to live in the field of oneness, in the divine, in your divine essence, in the kingdom of heaven, whatever you call it, where you know there is only love, there's only peace, there is oneness, there is nothing else, then we have to commit to that. And there is no better way to practice that when fear shows up saying, hey, you need to be afraid again, for whatever reason it might be. So the more we can catch that, the more I'm catching that, and right away check with myself, Pernilla, is that what you want? No, I don't want to live in fear anymore. Oh, great. So then we break up again. The fear keeps trying to come back and wants to get back in a relationship with me. So But because I'm not fully free from, I still have something in there energetically, so there's still a pull. But the more I just say clearly no, and then go to, well, what do I want? What do I long for? I personally long to live in a world of oneness, peace, harmony, and that may be different for everybody else. So then you need to know what world you want to live in. But this is my reality right now, and my cat has been an incredible teacher for me. And then when she shows up, she's just, she's very thin. She's almost like skin and bone, although she has been putting on weight the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think. So she's filling out a little more, which is amazing. But here she is, totally innocent, and she was just out there having a good time. Um, and and then I learned from that. It's like, yeah, she's fine. She is in the kingdom of love. She's there all the time. And when I go there, then I meet her there, and then somehow she comes to me. I'm not going to make that a rule that that has to happen every time because the mind likes to do that. It worked yesterday, so let me try again. See, then we're here. It's really coming to the place where you only want the divine, nothing else. And you want to know what that is, what that feels like. So I hope this is kind of clear. I'm probably fumbling around with it a little still, but I think it's really powerful for myself, at least, when this comes through and when I get it at a felt sense level. Wow, what freedom! Amazing, amazing. And of course, that's why I would like to share it with you and see if it's something you resonate with and if you want to practice that. We can practice that a little bit this coming Tuesday, June 3rd. We have our next online gathering called Feel Your Deepest Longing, Find Your Spiritual Calling. And that's kind of exactly what we're talking about, right? We need to find that longing, and then we need to keep going there. And so the link will be in the description, and it would be lovely to meet you there. All right, my friends, have a great day.